Hey there everyone! Today I'm going to be making an incredibly simple dish that has been an absolute favorite to keep in my cooking rotation. This dish uses very few ingredients, has very little preparation, and is mostly hands-off cooking time, which makes it great for a busy weeknight. So first, we're going to start off with 6 red potatoes that are washed thoroughly, and you may choose to leave the skins on for something a little more rustic, or you can choose to peel them. Next, we've got half of a yellow onion and 2 cloves of garlic. Then, we've got a 1/4 teaspoon of fennel seeds, which gives the very distinct flavor that you find in Italian sausage. We just want to amp that flavor up a little bit. A 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes for some added spice, and a 1/4 teaspoon of mustard seeds. And I prefer to use this better than bouillon paste. 1 pound of spicy Italian sausage, and 1 big bundle of kale. So I'm going to start by peeling my potatoes. I've made this mistake too many times and finally learned not to peel them directly over the sink or the garbage can, because inevitably they get slippery and I end up dropping them. Next, I'm going to peel my garlic quickly by using the flat side of a knife in the heel of my hand to deliver a quick slap, and the peel comes off just like that. Now, keeping the front of my knife in contact with the board, I'm careful of my fingers, but I slowly feed the garlic under while chopping like a guillotine. Then simply just taking a few quick passes with the knife until it's finely minced. Then I'm taking half of a yellow onion that I've cut from top to bottom. This makes it easier to cut into small and uniform pieces for sautéing as opposed to cutting it into rings. So I start by nipping the ends off and peeling away this outside layer. Then, from end to end, I make thin slices of about 1/4 inch all the way across. Then, turning at 90 degrees and slicing through those perpendicularly for beautifully uniform pieces of onion. In my stock pot here, I've got 6 cups of water that I'm going to toss in a few pinches of salt and start boiling the water. As I cut my potatoes, I usually just toss them into the pot as I work, even if the water's not boiling yet. Don't worry, they won't overcook. The easiest and safest way to work through cutting the potatoes is to cut them in half and lay them flat side down. This is so they aren't rolling around and you have more control. This makes it significantly less likely for you to cut yourself, plus the potato pieces also end up being more uniform overall. I'm just slicing each potato 3 or 4 times across each way, and you get nice bite-sized pieces that will also cook relatively quickly. I prefer using wooden utensils as opposed to plastic or silicone because you can rest them on the side of a pot without melting them, and they don't scratch up your nonstick surfaces. Next, I'll pull the leafy part of the kale off of the tough spines. I don't enjoy eating this part because they're pretty tough and stringy. After all of the spines are removed, I'm going to go through and tear the kale into about 1-inch pieces and throw them into the colander. You want these to be just comfortable bite-sized pieces. This looks like a ton, but they will wilt in the soup. Also, just be sure to give these guys a really good rinse and run your hands through and scrub the pieces to make sure there's no dirt or bugs. I always prepare the meat last because it ensures that none of the veggies or the surfaces around my station get contaminated. You're going to spread out all of your sausage evenly throughout the pan and let it sit undisturbed for 4 minutes or until it develops a really nice brown crust. After that, you can cook it up for just a few more minutes on the other side and let it pick up color and cook completely through. I've prepared a plate with a couple paper towels on top that I'm going to transfer the cooked sausage onto to soak up some of the fat. Of the remaining fat that's in the bottom of the pan, you'll only want to reserve a small bit and use it for sautéing your garlic and your onion. At this point, your potatoes should at least be tender enough to cut with a spoon, but not completely mushy. Reduce your heat down to medium-low and add your prepared spices and your bouillon. This is 1 teaspoon per cup of water, so I'll add 2 tablespoons for the 6 cups of water that's in the pot. 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. Once your onions have picked up some nice char and have started to break down, you can go ahead and add that, as well as your sausage and kale, to the pot. You can turn the soup down to low heat and cover it with a lid until the kale is tender enough to eat, which is about 15 more minutes. And there you have it, my take on the Italian wedding soup.